Rocket-assisted sidearms and heavy two-burst hand cannons are two of the most prominent weapon archetypes added to Destiny 2 since Lightfall. Bungie has been spoiling us rotten with the variety of weapons that have released, but one of the ones that stands out to me the most is the support frame auto rifle. For staying alive, this thing absolutely slaps. The intrinsic trait states flexible and agile frame capable of healing allies and hurting foes, harming targets, builds a restorative charge, hip firing at allies while this weapon is charged, heals them, with rapid healing, increasing weapon damage, and bestowing restoration to your allies. Now, as of right now, No Hesitation is the only support frame auto rifle in the game, and man, this weapon synergizes so well with solar abilities and subclasses with its intrinsic trait. The perk pool also adds another level of synergy with some of the prismatic builds that we have come up with over the last few weeks. And with the new perks added to the Pale Heart weapons, I never hesitate to use No Hesitation in harder activities such as raids and nightfalls, or really any activity for that matter. Today, we are going over the new No Hesitation auto rifle, the stats, the perks, what perk combinations you guys should try for yourselves. I am JT Goonie, and if you had enjoyed this video or if you find it informative, go ahead and subscribe, turn on notifications, and follow me on Twitch, where I stream Destiny 2, because Destiny 2 content is always on the menu. And if you join the Discord, you can find people to join your fire team and run through activities with. Link is down in the description. No Hesitation is a solar 600 RPM auto rifle that is not built for raw damage. I don't think Bungie intended for this weapon to be an ad clearing monster in any way, shape, or form. If you are a support player for your fire team, however, this is going to be a weapon that you want to use, and even though the stats aren't crazy, this weapon does perform pretty well. Starting with the base stats, we have 21 impact, which is pretty low, but it's able to be offset with some of the damage perks available to this weapon. 45 range, which I want to talk about a little bit more later in this video. 48 stability, which is overall a W considering this weapon does not fire in a straight line, which we will talk about later again. 82 handling, especially considering the origin trait of this weapon. Dealer's choice, which states final blows with this weapon grant a small amount of super energy. Equipping multiple weapons from the Pale Heart increases this effect. There is so much synergy with these weapons. I just made a video on the Call Sidearm from the Pale Heart weapon set and the Pro Memoria LMG from the same set, which can roll with reconstruction. This weapon slowly reloads itself up over time up to double capacity, and bait and switch. Deal damage with all equipped weapons in a short time to give this weapon a bonus damage boost. So swapping from your primary to No Hesitation is faster, switching from No Hesitation to your heavy is faster, all while the Dealer's Choice trait is giving you more super energy just for getting final blows with each weapon. We're sitting at 68 reload speed, which is great for keeping healing up as much as possible. Lastly, we have 68 aim assist. This weapon needed that base aim assist stat because, like I said, this weapon does not fire in a straight line, and it's going to need to stay sticky on your target, whether that be an enemy or a fire team member, because these weapons do sort of like a tracking effect. So it's not like you're just beaming down your teammates, and I feel like Bungie did that on purpose, just because if you were to able to hit scan your teammates and heal them, that'd be a little bit broken, but the aim assist does help out there. After using No Hesitation in a wide variety of activities in Destiny 2, I think as far as barrel and mag perks go, range is going to be the name of the game. At base, this weapon has a lower range value, but with the bullets having a seeking effect like we talked about earlier, with a pretty sharp fall off, if you need to be able to extend that tracking as much as possible, Hammer Forge rifling and accurized rounds are going to be my top pick. Hammer Forge giving you a 10 plus bump to range, and accurized rounds granting 10 to the range as well, bringing the base stat from 45 all the way up to 65. If handling is the way that you want to spec out this auto rifle, I would definitely go with fluted barrel for a +5 stability bump and a +15 handling bump, almost maxing out the handling stat at 97. Pair that with flared magwell to give you that huge +15 bump to reload speed and +5 stability. For the masterwork, stability and reload speed would be one of the best options for this weapon, giving you a 10 plus bump in either department. But honestly, with the masterwork, that is all up to you guys. It's just a matter of preference. If you ask me, the Pale Heart weapons have been at the top of my list since I got the auto rifle for the very first time. There are so many diverse options, and with the intrinsic healing, it really does not matter what perk combinations you choose. This weapon definitely has a build for everybody. So let's start with perk slot 1. Starting off the list, we have Physic. Rapidly healing allies grants restoration to you and your allies. Now, restoration is dumb overpowered. With the stacking bonus you get with this perk, restoration is a solar subclass buff that states you generate health and shields over time, and the bonus to that is it cannot be interrupted by taking damage, which can stack, increasing the speed and duration that you regenerate health. During my testing, I found that a fire team of 3, you proc restoration ×2, which lasts for about 12 seconds. Now, even in a fire team of 6, it still caps out at ×2, but the duration is increased the more you heal your allies with this weapon. Now, the timer can be reset as long as you deal damage to enemies and then hit fire hero your teammates, so you could literally keep proccing restoration over and over and over again as long as No Hesitation has one of those healing charges. Subsistence, defeating targets partially reloads the magazine from reserves. We've got Ensemble, improved handling and reload speed when allies are near. This perf is perfect for this archetype because being near your allies is the whole point. When near at least one ally, you gain 30 handling and 40 reload speed. So if speccing out this weapon for range and with the mag perks we spoke about earlier, this weapon is basically buffed across the board in the areas that matter, just playing into the healing aspect of this weapon. We've got Grave Robber, melee final blows or dealing damage with a charged melee reloads this weapon. I would pair this with pretty much any ranged melee attack, especially for solar hunters and solar warlocks. And a lot of the time you can proc buffs and debuffs on prismatic and solar subclasses by applying Scorch, Cure, and Restoration pretty much all in one go, just depending on what subclass you're on. Demolitionist, kills with this weapon generate grenade energy. Activating your grenade ability reloads this weapon. Really great for any grenade focused builds out there because each kill is going to give you back 10% of your grenade energy, and when you use that grenade, it reloads the weapon for you, so you could literally just keep feeding into that. Kill an enemy, heal your teammate, get your grenade energy back, throw your grenade, reload the gun, rinse and repeat. This next perk is one that I think is going to be a sleeper for a number of reasons. We've got Overflow. Picking up a special or heavy brick loads this weapon beyond normal capacity. The amount of ammo that goes into the mag beyond capacity is 100%. So this weapon has the potential to give you 104 rounds in the mag of healing ammo when you pair it with extended mag. To charge this weapon's healing shots, you only need about 15 rounds to charge to full, and you have about 30 rounds to spend on healing your team. Lastly, we have Strategist. Final blows with this weapon generate class ability energy. Activating your class ability grants this weapon increased stability for a short duration. Honestly, this one's probably on the lower end of my list for perks to choose, but it is definitely still a good option for people who are going to play PvP with this thing. Get that bonus stability just by dodging as a hunter or popping up a rally barricade, popping up over that thing and just firing into a crowd of your enemies. Not a bad option, but probably not one that everyone's going to pick right off the bat. Perk slot 1 is pretty stacked, but when you take into account what we have in slot 2, things start to heat up. In perk slot 2, we have Incandescent. Defeating targets spreads Scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause Scorch in a larger radius. This is my #1 pick for this slot because solar builds and prismatic builds have the benefit of causing combatants to explode when they are affected by an elemental debuff. Fire this weapon, enemies go boom. Plain and simple. Attrition orbs, dealing sustained damage generates an orb of power. This perk is a bit weird to me in a way. This weapon has a base magazine of 44, and with extended mag, it goes up to 52. But here's the catch. Any weapon that isn't a bow, sword, or grenade launcher requires 67% of the magazine to proc this perk. That means at base, you have 29 rounds that you need to fire and hit an enemy for this perk to proc, and on the high end with Overflow, you can really only generate about 3 orbs before you have to reload. Bungie would literally have to buff this perk significantly for me to even consider it as an option for perk slot 2. But on the fair side, you can generate orbs regardless. You really only need 1 to proc an armor charge, and you really only need 1 to proc most debuffs and buffs that apply to solar energy, so it really just depends on how you want to play it with attrition orbs. Frenzy, being in combat for an extended time increases damage, handling, and reload speed for this weapon until you are out of combat. This is a solid option if you want to be in the action with your fire team and still be able to heal, because you are charging this weapon healing shots. You are getting a 15% damage increase just by being in combat and bumping up handling and reload speed until you're out of combat. Win-win situation in that way. Disruption Break, breaking an enemy's shields with this weapon makes them vulnerable to kinetic damage for a short duration. I'm looking at those solar shielded enemies like wizards. I paired this with Outbreak Perfected, and boy, let me tell you, it was doing serious numbers, bringing the damage output from Outbreak up 50%, and that also applies to the nanites that stick to enemies when you get rapid hits. I do want to see how well this perk synergizes with Microcosm, just to see how it will work with the breaking shields aspect from the exotic perk from that weapon. I will have a video on Microcosm coming out, so make sure you guys get subscribed so you don't miss that one. I'm going to do so much damning testing because I love Microcosm. It's one of my favorite exotics in the game right now. A new perk added in the final shape, Circle of Life. Rapidly healing allies grants this weapon a period of increased damage, and I think you know where we're going with this one. This perk perfectly lines up with physics. To double down on the ally healing intrinsic trait for this weapon, charge up the weapon by dealing damage with no hesitation, heal your allies, get restoration, and bonus damage for when you charge up the weapon. That is spicy. This is going to be a great pick. Desperate measures, weapon final blows grant bonus damage, melee and grenade final blows grant a larger damage bonus that can stack. So here's the skinny on this one. Weapon kills grant about a 10% damage bonus increase for about 7-ish seconds, but here's where the real treat from desperate measures grants us. Grenade or melee final blows grants us 20%, and getting another melee or grenade kill goes up to 30%. Final shape is giving nothing but ability spam, and I absolutely love it. I feel like Bungie put this perk on here specifically for the new Solar Warlock class, and let me tell you, you guys are gonna have some fun with this one. Lastly, for perk slot 2, we've got Surrounded. This weapon perk states, this weapon gains bonus damage when 3 or more enemies are in close proximity. It's a good option, but with desperate measures being available and being so much easier to activate due to the fact that you don't need enemies nearby, I would just opt out for that or Circle of Life, just because if you're looking for more damage, having to be near enemies in the thick of it is not really the best choice. So the role I've crafted is probably the one that I'm going to use the most, which is Physic and Incandescent. With some of the artifact mods buffing your elemental debuffs to targets, this seems like a no-brainer for me, and Physic literally heals you uninterrupted while you take damage. Keeps you alive, keeps your team alive, all while healing continuous through damage and dealing extra damage to your enemies. What can go wrong? Subsistence and Circle of Life is a great combination. Healing your allies grants you bonus damage, and when you are getting partial magazine reloads for final blows when you have that increased damage, this one does require you to be a little bit more passive when you aren't getting the healing in return, but you can literally keep the magazine topped off by getting a 10% ammo refund per kill. And then when you heal your fire team, you're getting bonus damage. So it's literally an infinite cycle on that one. Overflow Circle of Life, Demolitionist Desperate Measures, and Physics Circle of Life are the top 3 roles that I would recommend for this weapon specifically. They synergize super well between the perks in slot 1 and slot 2, and with all the options available to no hesitation, the options are almost endless. Whether you want to be full support staff and keep healing your team with minimal effort, or you want to run and gun with the most damage possible on the Solar Auto Rifle, spec into your build, you have options. There's really no way to go wrong with this one. Again, attrition orbs, really not that great of a choice, but you know, you can't have all winners. So with all that being said, no hesitation has literally not left my energy slot on my hunter or my warlock because there are just so many use cases for this weapon. If you love being able to run and gun while also providing support, this is the weapon for you. Between the new support frame intrinsic perk, the barrel and mag options, making this weapon an absolute beast of an energy auto rifle, or the sheer flexibility in the perk pool in slot 1 and 2, it's no wonder this weapon is in the top 3 most used weapons in the game according to light.gg. Go get you guys self a crafted version of this auto rifle, and let's have a conversation down in the comments section about how you guys feel about this legendary auto rifle Bungie has dubbed the Don't Die gun. Don't forget to join the Discord. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.